Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com, and we're going to take a look at stocks versus futures, specifically if you have a smaller trading account. So, I want to walk you through a couple different real life circumstances so that way we're not talking in theory. I want to show you some real time things that occurred, and that way you can see how this all plays out in the real world of trading. But also, at the end of the day, I want you to decide for yourself. Yes, I certainly lean one way because I think one way definitely makes more sense than the other, especially if you have a smaller trading account. But like I said, I just want to map out a couple different things, and ultimately it will be up to you to decide what's going to make the most sense for you. So, stocks versus futures, you have a smaller trading account. What might be best for you? The first thing to consider from just an overall context perspective is something that is known as a pattern day trading rule. If you want to do stocks, and this also includes options, but if you want to do stocks, then you will have to deal with the pattern day trading rule. And I don't want to go too far into it, but at the core, if you have less than $25,000 in your account, you would fall under this rule. And basically, at the core, the rule does not allow you to trade as often as you want. I understand. What are you talking about? It's my money. Why would I not be able to do with my money as I want? Why can't I trade as much as I want? I agree. But unfortunately, the rule does not allow you to trade as often as you want with your own money. So with stocks, you would have to deal with the pattern day trading rule. I know sometimes people say, well, with a cash account, you can get around it. Kind of, but then you still have to wait for settlement rules and all this sort of stuff, which I know it does get confusing. But that's also the point is it is confusing. So yes, you're going to have to deal with a pattern day trader rule within the world of stocks and having a smaller account. In the world of futures trading, there is no pattern day trader rule. So you can trade as much as you want. So that would be one distinction. Well, right off the get-go, to me, in my opinion, well, if you want to be a day trader, part of being a day trader is, well, being able to trade, and not that you have to take 100 trades a day, but having some flexibility to kind of trade as much as what you think the market requires would be nice. So, and futures trading would allow you to do that. But now let's move into the next phase, and that is, well, let's consider how much money would need to be made. So here we are looking at a chart of NVIDIA. This move actually happened the day of recording of this video, but down at the lows here, it was at $116. So let's do a little bit of math in terms of, well, how much money would be required to take part of this trade? So I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence, but just to do the calculation, and for example's sake, let's just say you want to buy 100 shares. I'm trying to do a comparison to see if it would be worthwhile. And I understand, quote unquote, worthwhile. Everybody's going to have different worth of their time and everything like that. So I'm not trying to say that any of this is supposed to be black and white, but just trying to give a couple different, like I said, scenarios to build some perspective here. But for example's sake, let's just say you want to buy 100 shares. So you want to buy 100 shares. How much do each of these shares cost? Well, each one multiplied by their price, $116. In this situation with stock, it would be required for you to have $11,600 in your account. So just keep that in mind. Money required, 11,600. And as a spoiler, when I move over to futures, and if you go down a certain pathway that I'd suggest, it's not going to be anywhere close to 11,600. But that's where we are with stocks. So then after this, there was a nice move on NVIDIA, and that actually went up as high as $129 per share in the same day. So actually a pretty crazy move. So what sort of profit would you be looking at? Well, it went up as high as 129, and it started at 116. So 129 minus 116. And I know you could do, I'm sure you can all do this in your head, but that would be $13 per share. How many shares did I say in my little, hypothetical? We bought 100. So $13 per share times 100 shares means you'd have the opportunity at $1,300 on this trade. So 11,600 was required in order to make a potential. Now, these numbers are assuming you absolutely nailed the bottom and nailed the top. Like I said, just trying to give a general idea, but an opportunity at $1,300 in profits. So now let's look at a situation within futures. So to offer a little bit of context here, this is an alert that was made to my private trading community. So if you're interested in that, quick plug, claytrader.com/team, and you can learn more about that. But here is an alert that was made, and I should also note that we talk about stocks and futures because we have a variety of people that trade different things. But in this situation, this just happened to be an alert that was made on futures. And right here, I'm asking about, hey, the break has happened. What break? Well, you see that yellow line there, and the price has gotten up through there. So yes, a break has happened, which now just brings the question, hey, is there more to come? Is this break going to find more upside pressure? So that's the key question right now. With that being said, before we get to what happened next, how much money would be required to get involved in this trade? Now, the cool thing here in the world of futures trading are there are things called prop firms, which allow you to put way little of your money at risk. And then when you prove yourself and then you start trading and all that, the upside potential is absolutely fantastic. But right now, the core idea here is very little of your money do you need to put up, do you need to actually risk? Or in this situation, very little of your money is required to partake in the trade you're about to see. And this is all, this is not like me talking in theory. Again, this is the prop firm that I use. I'm not saying that you necessarily have to use this prop firm, but I know people are going to ask, hey, what prop firm do you use? So I'm just going to use the one that I use within the example here. So again, if you go to the link down below, it will take you to this, and make sure you do, because these prop firms are always running different deals and promotions. And by using that link, it'll ensure you get the best deal possible whenever you do click on the link. So right here, and like I said, if you go to here, it'll walk through how it works and all of that. But what I want to mainly focus on, because right now we're trying to figure out, well, how much would it cost to take advantage of that trade? And right here, you have various prices for different size of purchasing power. So for a $25,000 account, $150 per month. Now, case in point, these prices are actually going to be lower because we're always running promotions. So that's why you want to use that link. But let's just take it at face value. So 150, a $50,000 account, 170. Right now, I'm actually clicked on the $75,000 account, 245, but you get the idea. So you can see all this. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to base it off of this one, because the trade that I'm going to put on requires just one contract. So by clicking on the 25,000 one, you can see that you actually would be able to buy, you would be allowed to buy up to 3 contracts. But that number right there, in the world of futures and what I'm going to base our numbers on, I'm just basing it on one contract. So for that, $150 would be required to participate in this trade. And you're seeing what happened next. Right here is where we were originally watching it. And then you can see over the next basically hour or so, a very, very impressive move all the way up to there, which was worth 110 points. Now, this is where there's a little bit of a departure. In the world of futures, things are not based on dollars and cents. They're valued and based on what are known as points. And without going too far deep down the futures rabbit hole, just understand that in this situation, 1 point was worth $20. Now, if I've already piqued your interest and you're like, yeah, futures, I'm liking what I see, but where do I learn about these things? How can I get started? I will put a link down below to a free 4-part series that I offer on futures trading. And, talking about points and how to calculate this stuff is part of that class. But for now, like I said, that's a little too far in the weeds. I'm just trying to illustrate how much money was required versus the potential outcome. So as we've established, $150 was required to buy one contract. One contract is worth $20 per point. So let's get out the calculator here, and not to insult your intelligence, maybe you can do this in your mind, but what is 1 point worth? Well, 1 point is worth $20. How many points did I say that moved? 110. So right there, that was a profit opportunity. Again, I'm not saying anybody played it perfectly or anything like that, but like NVIDIA, we also assume that one was played perfectly. But from the breakout to as high as it went, by the way, for members of you that watch these videos and that took that trade, a big congratulations to you. But anyways, from where it broke out to where it ultimately went, that was a profit opportunity window of $2,200. So you're seeing the differences here, right? In stocks, you needed more money for less of a gain. In futures, you needed less money for way more of a gain. So does that mean that futures are absolutely for you? I'm not going to say that, but what I am saying, especially when you factor in, again, what I started off with, there's no pattern day trading rule. I think futures make quite a bit of sense. And as I mentioned previously, I would put a link to this class down below. Totally free 4-part series will give you a good foundation in futures, how they work, what the markets are, and then just those little things like how do you calculate the points and the profits and all that sort of stuff. So if you're thinking, yeah, futures seem to have a lot of things good going for it, then definitely get started with this class. And then also a big part of this is factoring in the prop firms. So if you're not going to use a prop firm and you're going to use your own cash, then yeah, more of your money would be required. But with prop firms, like I said, they just allow you to lower your required capital that much more. So if you want to learn more about the prop firm that I'm using and the one that I would recommend, then again, just check out the link down below in the description section, claytrader.com/take profit. And then finally, no matter what you do decide to trade, whether that is stocks or futures, I'd highly recommend you get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering because it will ensure that you have the right framework, the right understanding of the market. I've been coaching now for over a decade and I've seen a lot of people show up, and it's not like they're totally ignorant. They have a partial understanding. They sort of know this. They think they know how this works. And some of it's true, but unfortunately, partial knowledge is not going to be good enough. So in this class, I want to walk you through some of the right approaches, making sure that you understand how things should be used, how they should not be used, a good approach, approaches that sound good but actually aren't good, and why that's the case, and that much more in this class. So, and even if you're not brand new, if you're just kind of struggling as a trader, then I'd highly recommend you get signed up for this. Go to claytrader.com/live, or just click the link down below, and that will lead you to a page that will let you know when the next live class is. So definitely, please seriously consider getting signed up for this. So I hope this video helps. I hope you now have a couple different things that you can consider when it comes to stocks versus futures, but ultimately it'll be up to you on what you feel is going to work best for you and your particular situation. But with a smaller account, I personally think futures makes a little bit more sense compared to stocks for the reasons that I went over. So I appreciate you being here. As always, if you appreciate these videos, if you want to show some thanks, then a super easy and free way to do that is to hit that subscribe button. So if you could hit that subscribe button, really thank you. That helps out the channel quite a bit. So definitely go get signed up for this free class. Take care.